Andy and Dave Daily right here on the Muskegon Channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly. There's Dave Cackley. We watched the show last night on our 80-inch television, which we watched on the Muskegon Channel app, which most people can do free from your if you got a Roku or a Fire Stick, you can get that free for your TV. That's something to think about.
There you go.
You were wordy yesterday.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm saying you were verbose. If we were seeing it in an air check session, there would have been a program director saying words.
Not paying you in word.
I have a must see though for you today.
Okay.
There's a documentary on Prime that I'm going to put on your to watch list. Are you familiar with who Stephen Greer is?
I know David Allen Greer.
Of course you do. Very funny man.
Pam Greer.
Pam, lovely.
I know Rosie Greer. All the Greers I know are all famous black people.
Well, Stephen Greer is a white man. He's also one of the investigative journalists that is all into UFOs and cover-ups but this guy actually advises presidents and things like that. So there's an ounce of credibility to this dude. He's got a new.
Okay.
What's that?
Interesting. Advises presidents on UFOs specifically.
Yeah. He knows black ops deeper than black ops people know black ops. And I don't mean just black ops. I shouldn't say black ops. I should say the black budget.
Okay, no. So what money is going where for what particular purpose? What particular shady government purpose? Right.
That's
okay.
Kind of what he does. Yeah. So he's got a documentary out now, which, by the way, is narrated by Fred Durst, and he does a very good job. He does a very
Fred Durst is a very good narrator. He did a great job. Voice for that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even know it's Fred Durst. I remember hearing, I can't remember what it was. I heard Fred Durst narrate and go, that voice sound, I couldn't quite place it. But he's really good at that.
Really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is called The Lost Century and How to Get It Back. And he goes through in details every innovation that's come along that would take us off the world oil standard and give us free energy forever and completely change the way humanity lives. But it was either snuffed out by big business or government. And,
of course.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the patent office coming in and telling people, hey, that's national security you're screwing with. We're taking it away.
That's one of those things that people think it's one or the other. Oh, it's big government or it's big. No, they work hand in hand a lot of the time on stuff like this.
People that have invented cars that run on water. He was showing a guy out somewhere in the United States that's made a moped that runs on water with just a tiny bit of gasoline in it to get it to run.
Have that.
Oh,
you can't have
dude,
that.
I'm here to tell you what. And this stuff, he talks about the Tic Tac craft that are flying around at 0 point energy, which is another fascinating thing. Nikola Tesla actually had his finger on back in the day, and J.D. Morgan said, "No way in hell are we gonna let this 0 point energy." But here's the biggest part. Here's the thing that hit me in the movie. There are 3 billion people on Earth right now that don't have access to energy to even cook food. Imagine what energy like 0 point energy would give these people to change the way this entire planet works. If you didn't have to have energy to dig up crap out of the ground, to refine it, to change it, to ship it, to move it, to get it sold, to do it again and again and again, think of what we would have as a planet.
This doesn't surprise me because these big entities, again, whether you're talking,
you gotta watch it,
big corporations, or whether you're talking big government, that is these. Again, people think they're in conflict. They're not. They're together.
Need to watch it. You need to watch it, and it's worth even if you just pay the rental, $5 or whatever it is.
Well, I believe. See, I already believe what you're saying. I feel like I have seen it. Like I feel like I'm going to be told stuff that I already previously believed
Right.
to be
Well,
true.
then watch it and see. I mean, that way you can get some specific points to ponder along the way. And I mean, this is stuff we would not have had to use fossil fuels to get to the moon had they allowed it.
Again, you're preaching to the choir on this. I've said we've again, and I don't even know this goes back to the lack of leadership all across whatever entity you're talking about.
Let me ask you this too. How long have you heard your friend Andy say, the minute we decide to take ourselves off the world oil standard and do something else, we regain control of the planet?
But we're not going to be able to decide that unilaterally anyway. We can't make that decision. But we're not like
we can decide it solo.
There's too much of this and other things. Yeah. But what you give me this we can't, because we can't agree on anything. Mm-hmm. So we can't do that because there's too much disagreement, and there's too much money.
That disagreement. You got to work on the behalf of the 3 billion people that don't have energy to cook food and say, all right, it's time for a change.
Again, you've identified it, but there's no. I hate doing this. I hate it, but this is just the reality. There's too much money.
I get it.
Whether you're talking government or whether you're talking corporations, in the other fuel.
Okay.
There's too much money in that. You're not getting rid of that right now. You're just not. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, go watch the doc,
unfortunately,
and see if you change your mind.
Well, I'm not going to. Again, it won't change my mind on. I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, I know
you are.
What I'm
saying is, we're not going to do this.
I know that too. But the argument can be made that it's going to happen. And I say the sooner the better. And if you hear what this guy's got to say, you're going to see that it can be done and it should be done.
Oh,
and things will change on this planet forever after.
Again, I'm not denying any of that.
I know.
We have the capability and that we should. I'm just telling you, it ain't going to happen.
I get it.
Because there's too much power and there's too much money in these other entities, because we've created our own problems with this. We've created this.
Create a new problem. We have changed the old one. Just saying. Go watch the doc.
There's too much power up here.
I know, right?
That's going to allow that to happen. Oh. And unfortunately, that's the reality.
That's the reality. And the reality also continues to be a planetary migration of those 3 billion people to places where they can find a way to cook food. And we're going to continue to see border rushes all around the entire planet.
See, that is where there might be some movement because of the fact, the border thing.
It's not just in the United States. It's happening all over the planet.
Everywhere. Yes.
All over the planet. We never see it.
Israel, yes. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we see it.
We see the Mexican border.
You see it here, and you see it in Israel. Yeah. Well, that's not a BFD. That is not. That is a major.
It is. That is. If you look at it around the planet, of everybody trying to move away from places that they can no longer sustain.
Right.
The Mexican border crisis. It's a big deal to us, right?
Right.
But if you look at it on a global scale, it's just part of the problem.
Right.
There you go.
Fair point. All right. Let's get into the other stuff. The auto workers strike has stretched into Canada. Workers walked off the job at 3 GM facilities in Canada early this morning. Their union, Unifor, represents over 4,000 workers. I didn't even know there were 4,000 people in Canada.
Really?
I thought they were on 500-600. I'm not good with populations.
You know the one thing too that always gets me when you think of population?
What's that?
We always picture like the late 1800s, early 1900s as people living in the middle of nowhere and things like that. You realize that cities were just as busy then as they are now, except there was horse shit all over the roads because that's all they had to get around.
You know, man, I think about that a lot. I think about that because you get our age and you get a little more nostalgic for simpler times, even times before you existed. But I would never have wanted to. Can you imagine? Because I remember how much things smelled in the 70s. how things smell. I mean, unless you're living in unless you're living in San Francisco where there's feces everywhere,
Right.
things basically smell better now than they've ever smelled in their lives. In the history of human existence, things haven't smelled as good as they smell right now. Back in the late early 1900s, that had like you
Oof.
drop one of it. I think the first thing we would notice that everybody else back in that time would have just grown accustomed to is the stench. It had to. I mean, be vomitrocious.
Vomitrocious. There's our word for the
There
day.
you go.
Perfect.
There's your new word. All right. No winners in Monday's Powerball. The prize is now up to 1.73 billion.
Oof.
For Wednesday's drawing. Cash payout is over 750 million. It's the second largest jackpot in history. You blowing another 10 on this one?
Yeah.
Or?
Yep.
So you're going to be out to $30 over the
well,
past.
I don't know that. I bought my last ticket when we were up in Traverse City over the weekend because I was this close to running out of gas. I wasn't paying attention. So we stopped on our way up to Peshabi town there and topped it off, bought some gas. And then I bought a $10 ticket there. Commenced onto the casino where I got reamed. And then sat there in the room and pouted.
So, dude, you and your 3-card poker, you got to stay away from the 3-card poker tables. Just play blackjack or roulette.
Yeah,
Those give you those are your best odds.
I get it, but they also don't have the best payout.
Okay, again,
3-card, you hit.
You gotta go with the
math, dude, you hit hard.
But you're not. Yeah, okay.
I like that.
I'm just trying to help you. By the way, I want to thank you for encouraging me to buy a home. And then not responding when I said, yeah, well, yeah, because I made a nice little comment on our friend and colleague Becky's.
Yes, you did.
A photo, and then you're like, buy it. I'm like, if you want to open up your own Andy Bank with interest-free loans.
There's another thing to think about. Becky has just moved in with a retired cop, so I'd tread lightly. What kind of commentary you're making? Well, he show up a pistol with
it was a nice photo.
It was a nice photo.
I didn't do anything over the top.
I'm just saying
I didn't leave a drooling emoji or anything like that.
It's just saying I don't want to see you end up in the back of a trunk somewhere.
Compliments are positives.
All right.
Compliments are positive.
I agree. I'm just telling you. I'm your friend.
I appreciate that. Plus,
I come into some warehouse and I find you tied up in a chair.
Look,
that's the last thing I want to see.
Look, I do not have a pistol whippable face.
Yes, you do.
That's just no. I don't have Jim Harbaugh face. Jim Harbaugh's got a pistol whippable and punchable face.
This sucks.
Some people
Your
just
Jeopardy
have that.
question's another gimme.
Okay, wait. I've got stories and then more.
I know you do.
Story and I got more sports. Just don't get all. This is a gimme. What
It's a gimme.
Give me enough ridiculous questions, so nothing wrong with a little easier.
Want to see one thing I'm proud of?
Go ahead.
Look at this. See that?
Okay.
I have done my solid best to not peel off the sticker part of the calendar this year.
Impressive.
I know. That's patience.
Look, and look how many months. We're already 9 months in.
I know. 10. October.
Close. Oh, that's right. We're into the. Well, we haven't completed 10 months, so we're
close to
through 9 months. We're into the 10th. Okay.
I say once we get past 10-4, good buddy, we're solid into October.
Okay. Road construction will be on the ballot in Muskegon next month. Blackmer Road in Ravenna is in rough shape. Voters on November 7th will decide on $3.285 million in bonds to reconstruct that 3-mile stretch between Ellis and Wilson Street. Probably a good idea.
Yep.
I would think. Otherwise, it's one of those things where
$1 million
some
a
of these
mile.
roads, we've had a lot of these roads fall into disrepair over the years, and I'm big on patching until you can't patch. But then once it starts affecting your suspension and your tires, and I'm somebody who has had to shell out a good amount of money for tires due to shitty road conditions.
You drive like a maniac too.
So I don't. I drive like a 90-year-old woman with cataracts. What are you talking about? I'm very safe.
Here's what we're going to talk about the roads. Our little road here.
Mm-hmm.
The county won't do anything for it because it doesn't serve the public.
Okay. Yeah.
We complained about our road and the way it leaks down into our driveway, and the whole road washes over our. the neighbors complained, and they, on and on.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you only got 6 people on your road. It serves no purpose. Hey, thanks. Glad we're paying taxes.
There you go. Hey,
Get your ass out here and fix it.
Exactly. Well, you could start picketing.
Dude.
Get you and the other 5 people out there and say, hey,
I don't think I need the other 5 people if I want to raise a stink. I think you've seen the kind of damage I can do when I want to.
Yes, but the problem is when it's only affecting 5 other people, they're not going to do it because where's the money? Okay,
you've seen me bang on my high chair, and you've seen how that goes.
Yes, I've seen, and sometimes it can work. Sometimes sometimes you end up deleting posts.
I only delete posts if people take on each other that don't know each other and start throwing insults at each other.
Right, and that's one of the here's the thing is that because and I understand and I like it when you kind of poke the bear at times. I find it enjoyable. It's just one of those things because you'll take a stand sometimes where you're going to have a 50% divide.
Yep.
You're going to take a strong stand on one side, and then you're going to have the other side come up and say
they're welcome to say anything they want until everybody starts insulting each other.
But that's always going to be what happens.
Well,
it always gets personal. Yeah, it just that's just where we are. Sports, Packers fall to the Raiders 17-13. Packers now essentially 3 games behind Detroit. The Lions, I was talking to our mutual friend Kenny Ritz, huge Lion fan. Lions haven't hosted a playoff game in 30 years.
Wow.
They're virtually guaranteed to do that now. Barring a complete and utter collapse, which ain't going to happen.
Nope.
With this organization and this team. 5-1. The Packers are 2-3. Keep in mind the Lions already beat the Packers in Green Bay, so that puts them 3 up, 5 games into the season. This is wow. If you're a Lion fan, you're in. We've just gotten into October, and you're virtually a lock to win your division. It's crazy.
I love it.
That's sports.
All right, Jeopardy today. $600. Foreign words and phrases once again. Notice how I looked up at the camera and put a little flair on that. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. The name of this craft is Japanese for folding paper.
Name of this craft? I mean, it's a Japanese word for folding paper.
You're kidding me.
Oh, wait, no, I got origami.
There you go. I told you. It was another gimme.
That wasn't a gimme. I had to search. I had to think deeply. I had to take a breath. I had to think about, the one Japanese word I know.
All I had to think about was the old commercial. You ever hear origami?
What's that? A pterodactyl. Yeah. That's the only reason I know it.
Have yourself a fantastic Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow, and go watch that Stephen Greer film. You got to do it by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
You should.
See ya!
Happy Tuesday, Muskegon. Clouds will stick around today, with maybe a few isolated showers during the afternoon as well. So let's take a look at your forecast, brought to you by Trendy Health. Your Tuesday weather headlines show we will have cloudy weather sticking around, like I said, and we could also have a few very isolated showers. We're not expecting much rain, if we see any at all. Most of them will stay to the north of us. I'll show you that in just a second. And we'll likely stay in the 50s. Today we'll have a high right around 50, with a steady temperature around 50 the entire day. And then rain is likely now Friday into Saturday, as it looks like the storm system that was looking like it would bring us a lot of rain is slowly shifting more south. But this is what the future radar could look like at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. You can see most of the rain is staying north of Muskegon, but some isolated bands of rain could be moving through the area during the afternoon hours, so just keep that in mind. But most of the day will be dry but staying overcast. So for your Tuesday, expect a high right around 50 degrees during the afternoon hours. It will most likely actually just be steady throughout the day as well. So high is pretty much around 50 for the entire day, and a little bit warmer closer to the lake. And along with the high of 50, we'll have cloudy skies all day today with a few isolated rain showers. Like I said, winds will be out of the west-northwest as well. Overnight will cool down to 47 with a few isolated showers continuing, but like I said, most of the time it will be dry. Going into Wednesday, though, we'll likely clear out a little bit, staying mostly cloudy, though, and dry. And then Thursday looks drier now. It looks like most of the rain will hold off until late Thursday night, maybe even until Friday. Friday and Saturday do look like it will be rainy, though, especially Friday night going into Saturday, with windy conditions as well. And after that passes through, we'll stay in the 50s. And that's your Tuesday forecast, brought to you by Trinity Health on the Muskegon channel. And I'm Cole Woods Weather, and enjoy your day today.